quote me on this, if someone attacks me with a buzzsaw, I will 100% be able to knock them out. Hey guys, it's John, aka Bruce Lee. I'm a kickboxing teacher here in Canada, and today we're looking at another Jackie Chan review, this time from The Protector, where he fights Bill Wallace, who is a really good martial artist and kickboxer in his own right. They do an awesome scene here that's actually pretty realistic, so let's look at it and break it down on 2 criteria. 1 out of 10 on how realistic we think it is, and 1 out of 10 on how entertaining it is, since, you know, that's really the objective of the movie. Let's get started right now! Alright. It's a good feint. I like that double kick. Well, let's back up for a second there, guys. What I really like that's pretty realistic here is what Bill does is that he moves his foot kind of like a fake kick, because you look at the swagger that he has, right? He looks confident. He looks a little bit intimidating in terms of size and just demeanor compared to Jackie Chan. So he does the feint and starts moving in. What he notices is that Jackie Chan is like fidgety or like overreacting, starting to back up, and you can absolutely use that to your advantage in a real fight, because that means when you press forward, you know they'll back up, and that gives you the initiative. So he kicks his foot up, and he's like, oh! Keep backing him up. He eventually runs out of space. He does 2 kicks in the air. One's blocked, one's landed. All very realistic. Jackie Chan looks kind of pissed. I don't think this guy sounds like that in real life. Good blocks into a body shot, but he takes a kick. Decent blocks. Really good side kick. So right here after the flurry, Bill Wallace pushes him back like 10 feet from a side kick. That's super realistic. When you land a flush side kick and you're able to step in like that, you'll absolutely like feel that much force going back. Backing up again. I love how this guy's like, Aah! Like no one needs to sound like that for any reason, even in a fight. Oh, another good double kick. Good spins. Jackie Chan should do more of that. When someone's a really good kicker and kind of has advantage at range, you usually want to cut the distance a bit more. Another good side kick. So this side kick about to happen here, like, yeah, it does do a lot of force, but what happens here where he kind of like goes up 4 feet and bounces back? I don't think that's super realistic. But I didn't think that's super cool. I forgot how good Bill Wallace was. He has a good spin kick. I really like his side kicks as well. Back in the day, side kicks were really the, you know, the #1 we used weapon, I feel like. I love that move. So what Bill Wallace is going to do here is do a side kick and slightly miss against the wall, but because his knee is up anyway, he's going to flick his foot back and snap it into Jackie Chan's face. Let's look at it here. Pushes in, misses the side kick, and it hits him in the back of the head. That's pretty realistic. That snap doesn't have that much power, but you can absolutely hurt someone, especially if they didn't see it coming, right? You don't need that much power to hurt someone if they don't see it coming. Oh, he tries to do a throw on him. I believe Bill Wallace also does judo and is trying to do a hip toss, but it didn't work. You know, I always find it interesting in movies and shows when someone's like on their hands and feet, or like hands and knees like this, they always kick them into the ribs and they send flying, and it's like, it's not practical, you know what I mean? Like, if you have them on the ground, you should soccer kick them into the head. In fact, it's such a good move in real life that the UFC banned it because it's causing too much damage. So why kick them in somewhere big like the ribs when you hit them somewhere like while they're down and kind of like shaky, hit him in the head and his lights out. Like, he actually pulled away. I thought he was going to hit for the head and it doesn't go for it. Ah. Oh. So a couple things I thought were a little bit unrealistic there is that if you have someone on the ground who's in pain, you don't need to pick them up to hit them. You can just hold them down there and hit them, use gravity and your height advantage now that they're on their knees to hit them even harder, and that would just make infinitely more sense than picking like spending the energy to pick someone up, hold them up, and just to load up a big punch. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. And then Jackie Chan does like a flying headbutt. I've never tried this move I don't know if that works, but I'm sure it would push the guy back that far. Alright, it looks like this guy's gonna help this guy cheat with a set of brass knuckles. Oh, Jackie Chan doesn't see it. He's hiding it behind his back. Oh! So one thing I think is a little bit interesting here is that Bill has actually put it on his right hand, which kind of does make sense because the right hand or whatever hand's behind you tends to be the more powerful punch. But what Bill has here is almost like a taekwondo stance, which is bladed, which means his shoulders and hips aren't facing his opponent, they're facing away from his opponent. So if you look at the camera, he's making himself a smaller target like this, exposing the side of his body. And what that does is that it makes you a smaller target, which is true, but it also puts more power in your left punch and your left side kick and front kick. So that's why the side kicks have been so effective for Bill up to this point. I actually think it would make more sense to put the brass knuckles on his left side, since that's technically kind of his dominant side to go in with. So still works. I don't think it's gonna do anything. Interesting. So one little like disillusionment here is that you see how there's dents all over Jackie Chan's like makeshift shield. Like I don't know what that is exactly. It's just like a metal box. But if Bill Wallace has brass knuckles and is able to punch hard, like enough to make those dents, there's no way Jackie Chan was holding out his shield up here away from his body. It's just denting and everything's taken right here. If that was happening in real life, what would happen is that the punch would the force would go through the box, and this would happen. He'd hold up his box and just hit himself in the face. Like if it's taking that much force, I really don't believe that with the grip that he has, the box wouldn't just go fly through, or that the box and his hands would just end up hitting him in the face. So a little unrealistic there, but the throw is pretty funny. Find some weapons. There's a hammer right there. Get the hammer. That works too, but the hammer would have just made infinitely more sense. It's right there on the wall. Double jumping side kick. I find those jumping side kicks don't really work. There's no way a punch is gonna make a guy spin in the air 8 times. Like, I punched pretty hard, and it doesn't work. There. He picks up like a wrench or something. Oh, a buzzsaw. Yeah. That's terrifying. What does he do against this? Good dodges. I mean, it's creative. This actually makes a lot of sense. As they get caught up in that's too bad. If you got caught in the pallet a bit more, that would've been smart. Oh, he gets electrocuted. Oh no. So that was it, guys, for Jackie Chan's The Protector, warehouse fight scene. Super cool scene there. Bill Wallace, again, they brought in, what I liked is that they brought in a really legit martial artist. Like, that guy, I believe, was a kickboxing champion for like 6 years and a karate Hall of Famer or something like that. Like, the guy, I don't know too much about him. That's a little bit before my time of like study, but I could tell right there he was super skilled. There's a few things definitely unrealistic. Like, obviously, like the side kick, like having that much force push you back like 6, 8, 10 feet. That's very realistic, especially if you don't have your balance underneath you. But that whole thing where you went into the fence and bounced back, like that was obviously just like stunt cables. But you know, it is what it is. And then honestly, the buzzsaw thing doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. Like quote me on this. If someone attacks me with a buzzsaw, I will 100% be able to knock them out. So what I noticed there was the buzzsaw is just hella slow, and to inherently like use it, your hands are out here. Where are they not? at your face. So it's slow. So the second you miss one shot or like one whatever swipe, all I gotta do is dodge back, come in, bang, and you literally can't block while holding onto the buzzsaw. So that, you know, doesn't really make sense to me. However, the side kicks and a lot of those, like where Bill Wallace brings up his knee, does like a double kick in the air, like all those very real, like Taekwondo style moves, really excellent execution compared to like a regular like Muay Thai roundhouse that I would prefer. It's significantly less power, but when you have that speed and a kicking agility, you don't need that much power to do a decent bit of hurt against your opponent if they're not expecting it, right? Especially when you're so fast and so agile. So I 100% believe that was realistic. Some of their punches was a little bit wide and looping, which makes it easy to block for the sake of the scene or the sake of the stunt. So the punches weren't like amazingly realistic, but I thought the kicks were super on point. I did a really good job of showing like classic kind of like Taekwondo style martial arts before like we had like Muay Thai, like the way we have it today, or like the way it's popularized today. So this movie, excellent representation for martial arts in that era, just in my opinion, and it's super fun to watch, you know what I mean? Oh, the other thing that's unrealistic was like Bill Wallace is a super nice guy. He doesn't go around being like like that. You know, he doesn't sound like that. Like, I don't know why they put that in. He doesn't sound like a budget Hulk. You know what I mean? Like, so that was a little bit out there. But anyways, let's give our ratings, guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, we got realism, we got entertainment. So realism, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Like, there's a few things that's a little bit out there for me, especially with the buzzsaw thing. Like, I just didn't think that made sense. And like, as Jackie Chan, like, I don't know why you'd pick up 2 pots on your hands. I know it's funny, versus like 2 hammers that were literally right above the pots. So the few things for me made it feel like, you know, kind of like the classic Jackie Chan style like humor movie, as opposed to like a super realistic thing. But I was super impressed by the kicking flexibility of Bill Wallace. On an entertainment factor, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. If you've been watching my channel for a while, 9 is really good, but I rarely give 10s if I don't think it's like super realistic. And it's because, like, for me, especially like where I'm at now in like my study of martial arts, like if I can't like believe it and like wrap my head around it fully, it's hard for me to give it a 10 out of 10. So that's all it is. Comment below what other scenes you guys would like me to do, or what you thought of the movie. I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, I'm gonna see you next time. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, because I want to hang out with y'all again. And I'll see you there, guys. All right, Bruce Lee is out.